public speaking because you guys have a project to present right after this. So some tips on how to do public speaking is to know your audience. So you have to know who you're speaking to if you're doing something, can you remember what the book is called? With Atticus, you know what I'm talking about? Mockingbird, To Kill a Mockingbird, that book. If you guys are presenting like an argument on that, then you have to know who your audience is pertaining to, like if you're in a courtroom scene. So you have to practice and prepare. So what that means is obviously you're gonna create your argument, your presentation, or however you're gonna go about it. And then what you're gonna do is you're gonna get a buddy or you're gonna practice even by yourself. That way you feel more comfortable in your presentation and you're not standing there going, So no direct reading. I don't have note cards, as you can see. Most of the time I would have because I'm not typically a good public speaker either, but the best thing to do is just to make your key points like I did, and then talk about those key points from what you practiced and move on. Body language is a big thing. You don't want to stand here just mild and timid. It's fine if you don't want to move around a bunch, but talking with your hands is a good way to keep people engaged and interested. And you also want to make sure that you're talking loud enough where you can be heard. If this was a big classroom, there was a bunch of people in here, maybe some people were talking or whatever, then you're going to want to make sure that other people behind them or wherever can hear you. If you're in an auditorium, you're going to have to project your voice. So it's normal to be nervous. That's a big thing with me. I typically get nervous when I'm public speaking or anything like that, but I've had a little bit of practice over the years. Sometimes it can make you feel vulnerable. People will oftentimes close up because they don't want people to see that side of them, or they just don't like talking out loud to people they might not know. Again, all these coincide being afraid of forgetting things. That's totally normal too. I've done it plenty of times. The best way to overcome that is by practicing, by talking to people that you don't know, just by putting yourself out there a little bit. Stage fright also coincides with that. Kind of the same thing. People lock up when they're on stage or when they're in front of a classroom, and they don't want to talk to people because, again, they don't know them or they're uncomfortable. So you always want to show the speaker that you're listening. That means being calm, staying off your phone, not talking, just overall being attentive. What you want to do is you want to make sure that that person knows that you're listening and they don't feel disrespected, maybe because you're not, because you're on your phone, or because you're just talking. I know it's a big thing with classroom settings to kind of freeze up because you're afraid of being ridiculed or bullied or something like that because you said something that maybe wasn't quite right or that they didn't agree with. So the best thing to do is be respectful of your classmates and to make sure that they understand that you're not going to bully them for trying their best. So I do have some questions I'm going to ask you guys. Anybody can answer. So what are some good ways to overcome stage fright with public speaking? What are some ways that you can get around being afraid to talk in front of people? Yes?
Like the old saying, imagine everyone in their underwear.
Yeah, you can do that too. I don't know if it always works, but you can do that too. Yeah.
I found pacing helps when you're talking.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to try that. I haven't heard of that one. That's pretty good. Did you have one?
Yeah, practice like before you do it.
Yep. Perfect. Perfect. Why do you guys think that people get nervous public speaking? Yes.
All eyes on you.
Yes. Yes.
How do you judge?
Absolutely. Yes. No? Anybody else? All right, what are some good ways to be a listener to the person who's speaking out in the classroom like I am right now? Yes.
Eye contact.
Eye contact, that's a good one. Yes.
Pay attention, like don't get on your phone.
Yes. Yes.
Be quiet.
Yep. You guys were wonderful. All right, who can give me some tips maybe that I didn't talk about or even that I did that would make you guys a good speaker or even a good listener to someone who is public speaking? Yes. Breathe. That's a good one. That's a real good one. A lot of people will lock up and kind of just shut down, and then they feel panicked, which can throw them into like a little anxiety attack, and they hyperventilate or whatever the case may be. But yeah, that's a good one. Yes.
Make jokes.
Jokes are a good thing in like a classroom setting like this or something like that. obviously, if you were in a big business and you were doing a presentation on something, you might not want to throw some jokes out there depending on what it is. But a setting like this, it's perfectly fine to use some jokes. Some humor is good. Yes.
When you're like talking to a group of people, don't look them in the face, but if you're like scared, just like look over their heads.
That's a good one too, yeah. I don't know if you guys could tell, I'm also a little nervous, which is probably why I talked fast through this, because I'm not usually in front of a classroom like this. I've been out of a classroom for a while, so it's a little nerve-wracking to be like this. So coming from a student teacher, like who's going to be teaching in like a year, it's a little overwhelming to be going through all of this with you guys, because this is my first time public speaking ever, except for in a classroom setting. So I appreciate it so much. Anybody else? Are we good? All right, that was all I had for you guys. If you guys have any other questions or anything, please feel free to ask me. We're good. I'm gonna give you guys candy. And whatever we have left, I'm gonna give to Miss Butler, so if you're nice, maybe she'll give you some.
She's gonna beat you.
Yeah. This is Halloween candy.
That sounds nice.
No, we had a ton left. There's not a whole lot of chocolate in there. Yeah.